Cars could take you off faster than me in the first second.
This is what she looks like with the cams out. It's like someone had it on a vise or something and they just bent them.
This sounds ridiculous!
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode on Proven Power Cycles. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Eric. I am the tuner here, and there's Lewis. Lewis is working on our 24th anniversary ZX14R. We're almost done with this one. You guys probably will have already seen that video because, well, we're just starting this one. This one's gonna take a bit. That one's almost done. So anyway, on this Busa, we got the honor and the privilege. Now, I know I've been announcing this and saying it here and there and through some of our videos, but we finally got someone to pull the trigger on it. He's all about it, so. Finally. Yeah, finally. We got someone that's serious. So, anyway, we got this 25th anniversary. It is a beautiful bike. Such a beautiful paint scheme. The camera just doesn't do it any justice, guys. And I know these bikes have been out now for a little bit, but I gotta tell you, for those of you who have not seen it in person, you really should see it in person. The color is just gorgeous in person. It's awesome. A little bit of red, a little bit of orange. Has like almost like gold flake. I don't know, it has some kind of flake in it. It's really pretty. So what we're doing on this bike, currently it is on the dyno. It's more or less stock. It has these Yoshimura slip-ons. What we're gonna do, we are going to baseline it exactly as it sits. It's not gonna make a ton of power, and it's gonna have a really crappy top end power band. That's what these newer Gen 3s, that's kind of what they're known for, to pass those Euro 5 emissions. Screw you, Europe, you suck. So, with that being said, we're gonna baseline it. Then we are going to do a full pentacarbon exhaust. We also are gonna do a Sprint PO8 air filter, which is usually kind of a common thing for these bikes. And the last couple of things that we're going to be able to do is we are going to do the set of super stock cams that Brock sells on their website. We're also going to do the BT Moto velocity stacks, and we're going to do the ECU flash and dyno tune. So obviously we're going to pair it all together as one big package. Very curious to see how this comes out. We do have other bikes, the other Busas, that have undergone some of similar transformations, minus the cams and the stacks. We do have a couple of Gen 3s that have done stacks, and then we had another one that did a set of custom cams from Web Camshaft that I believe they did. It's basically just like a set of drop-in cams that they tried to do to theirs a while ago. We have that information as well, so it'll be really cool to see how everything compares. Now on these drop-in cams, they do claim that you don't have to do a valve adjustment, I believe, but it's always advised that you check. From a lot of the drop-in cams that we've come across in times past, we have learned that you better check the valves, because more than likely they're gonna be a little bit off. So we're gonna go through and do our due diligence and not assume that everything's gonna be peachy. We're gonna go ahead and just double check the valve clearance just in case. So again, guys, I'm curious. So later in the video, we'll touch on all that and we'll see if it's true or not. So when Lewis is gonna go through and check the valve lash, we'll keep you guys updated on that and let you guys know what we find out on this bike. Here we go. We don't have Daryl right now, so we are improvising. Yeah. Update here on the bike. So Lewis has got it down to where everything is taken off. We have the fairings all off, we have the tank off, we have the valve cover off. He's been working very diligently. He's got the throttle body assembly off. So these are the stock cams. This is the stock setup. This is what it looks like in here. So we are getting ready to, we're gonna set this into time at TDC, and then we're gonna start removing everything in preparation for the new camshafts. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of where it's at, how it's all broken down real quickly. more than likely, after we get the cam all set up and all that jazz, he'll start working on the exhaust. And then, again, as we're putting Humpty Dumpty back together, we'll throw the velocity stacks and the air filter in there as well. So, very, very excited. This bike's coming together. While it's here, we're going to give it a nice, good wipe down. It is a little dirty. It almost looks like they tried to wipe it down in the rain or something. You see that? It's kind of weird. They have some nicks here and stuff, so we're going to polish some of this stuff up for the guy. Just clean it up for him. But anyway, just wanted to give you guys a quick update, show you where we're at. As Lewis is kind of going through this, I'm going to be a pest and all up in his face and in the way, and we'll video some of this for you guys. Here they are. So we got the OEM camshafts out. Well, Lewis did. He's got the OEM camshafts out here, cam caps there. And we have the new Brox cams here. So, and we're gonna verify that the base timing and all that's correct. It should be, but we'll verify it. This is what it looks like all emptied out for you guys and gals out there. And this is what she looks like with the cams out. So these are all your buckets right here. This is all intake side, the other side's exhaust. So what Lewis is gonna do after he sets these cams in there is we're gonna go back through and check the actual valve clearance. So just for those of you who also are new to the channel and new to motorcycles, whenever anybody is doing a valve adjustment on your bike, for the most part, on most sport bikes, we're taking these buckets out and there's a shim right underneath there. That's why they're called shim under bucket. So there's a little shim underneath there, little, like a thick washer. Think about like a thick washer, guys. And what we do is we measure that out and we adjust it based on the clearance between this bucket and the camshaft, okay? That's the clearance you're measuring, is the distance between the bucket and the camshaft. And again, whenever you do your valve lash, there's a clearance that you're supposed to hit in between there. There's a space, a gap. And if you're not within that gap, if you're loose or tight, then you make adjustments to this shim in order to get that clearance correct. As you can see behind me here, Lewis is wrapping up the cam swap now. He just got done checking all the valve clearances, and yes, they are actually still good to go. So we have 8 to 11 thou on the exhaust side, and pretty much we got 9 thou, 8 thou, 9 thou, 10 thou, 10 thou, 9 thou, 9 thou, 8 thou all across the board. And then on the intake side, it's supposed to be 3 to 7 thou, and he's at 6, 5, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 5. So all in all, everything is within spec like it should be. So very cool news, awesome to hear. Cannot wait. We are going to suture this thing up here in a little bit. He's getting ready to throw the valve cover back on. He's just making sure everything is torqued to spec. And once he does that, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing all sealed up here. And we're going to, then he's got to slap the exhaust on and the intake and the stacks and all that other jazz. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this video. If you could, why don't you go ahead and leave us a like or a comment while you're at this stage. We're about midway through. So why don't you go ahead and give us a like, a follow, ask a question, tell us something. Oh, we got some oil. Tell us some stuff, you know, tell us your stories. Tell us what you think of the video so far. Tell us what you think it's gonna do for power at the end of this video. That'd be really cool. So why don't you guys chip in on that? Tell us what you think this thing is gonna make once it's all said and done, final numbers. Let us know what you think down below, please. That'd be pretty cool to see everyone's guesses. So Lewis was in the middle of taking apart this stock header, and he came up to me and said, hey, I'm having an issue getting these bolts out of the head. So we had to get a pretty long 1/4-inch drive ratchet, and look at these things. This came out of the factory head. Tell me this isn't crazy. Factory exhaust, completely stock, not aftermarket whatsoever. And look how these things are like, it's like someone had it on a vise or something and they just bent them. Craziest thing.
Hey, that guy that did that said, I ain't never gonna have this one's bent too. Again.
Bro, I guarantee you this was a worker that was that was on his way out. He's like, I'm leaving. Yeah, that's definitely bent too. It's like angled at such a strange angle.
That's what I would do with my valves. When my valves are bent, I just put them flat and just spin them and watch the head.
See the head, yeah.
Sticking out. And I'm like, oh, this one's bent.
Well, luckily we have some of these. These are M8 by 125. So and this looks like by about 30 millimeter. So we have these bolts in stock, and we actually have them in stainless. So a little bit of an upgrade for the guy. We'll go ahead and throw them in there for him just because that's pretty crazy. Definitely pretty crazy to find that in a brand new bike. Never would you think you'd find something like this in a brand new bike. The other thing I wanted to point out to you guys, we have the BT Moto stacks and the Sprint air filter in now. So the cams are in, the stacks are in, and the air filter are all in. We are getting very excited to get this thing underway. And Lewis and Daryl are working pretty diligently right now. Speak proper, boy. They're getting this all wrapped up. They got the headers going in. They're making really good time. All right, guys, we got it on the dyno. Finally, it's ready to go. We got to warm it up. The bike sounds great. And yeah, I'm not gonna really say much more other than that. Let's do some baselines with a whole new setup. Actually, let's get a cold start for you guys. See how this thing goes. Cold start. Yeah, I forgot to show you guys that we got the orange tip on the Brock's Pentacarbon exhaust. So, but man, the bike sounds great. I'm glad I kind of looked over the bike real quick. This is why we do this. We always check the bike out before we do any runs to make sure. We had a couple of the hoses coming down from the fuel tank. They were sitting on the back side over here. You can't see it from here, but it's these hoses here that go up to the fuel tank. And just when the fuel tank got set down, they're sitting back over here. So you see how I already kind of moved them a little bit, but they were sitting right on top of the chain. So again, I always do a walk around before the dyno session just to see little things like that. We usually check it all out, and you know, I'm not gonna say we're perfect, but we're a good like 99.9%. You know, there we do a pretty good job. So guys, we got the Busa all wrapped up. As you can see, it's a lot different, sounds a lot different, sounds very, very clean now. We on a great choice in exhaust, as you guys saw outside already. George, great guy, love him as a customer, he's a great guy. But let's go over the numbers. So I know you guys are dying to see it, so let's start going over all the numbers and show you guys the difference. And the horsepower is pretty big, so here we go. So when the bike came in, now granted, these are with the Yoshi slip-ons. They were not with the full exhaust system or anything, but again, we're gonna show you the befores and the afters. So to start with the slip-ons, he was at 165 horsepower with 101 foot-pounds of torque. Now, pay attention to this upper area here, all right? This is what we typically see even with a full exhaust system. We always see this hump over, and that's the difference between the cams, the velocity stacks, the smaller throttle bodies. All of these things in combinations are gonna give it that fall off at the top RPM band, okay? This is what we typically see no matter what with the Gen 3 Busas, all right? Now look at the AFRs also. It was absolutely pig rich. I mean, we're at 11.54 at 5,500 or 5,400 RPM. That's substantially rich. And look, it holds it from about 4,800 RPM all the way up to like 62, 63 RPM. You're running at 11.5 area. This is gonna make for just horrible fuel consumption. And look, if you look at the overall, look, we're super rich all the way through. All the way through, we're super, super rich. All the way through. So it doesn't matter where you're at in the power band, it's just flooding it with fuel. So regardless, it's not that great all in all is what we're trying to get at, obviously. So now after installing the Brock's super stock camshafts, the Sprint air filter, the BT Moto stacks, the full Pentacarbon exhaust, I mean, we did throw a lot of it all at once, okay? Here's what the final numbers are. And we'll even kind of check out AFR here. So all in all, we had a little divot here, we had a little dip, but not a big deal. We're only in this for about less than half a second. This is probably a quarter of a second here. And we're right back onto the plane. We're going. We have these little blips here and there, but all in all, beautiful AFR now. Here, we'll highlight it for you guys, make it a little easier to see. But all in all, we're dealing with a nice flat AFR curve. Again, we have a 2% error here, and that's about it all in all on the upper RPM range. Well, mid to upper. So very clean lines, very good. All right, now aside from that, let's move on. Let's look at the real stuff here, good stuff. We're targeting here around, let's say, we'll even target 10,000 RPM, guys. Let's target 10K. Here we go. So we're at 10,000 RPM. Air fuel, obviously much more cleaned up, but we also had a lot more mods, right? We picked up 13 foot-pounds of torque, and we also picked up 20, we'll cut this at 163, so 24 wheel horsepower we picked up right there at 10,000 RPM. That is substantial. If we want, let's pick off where it's falling off at that top end. Notice how the power band's coming down with slip-ons. Now we're having a nice peak hold. Beautiful hold, mind you, by the way. This is beautiful. We have a difference of 34 wheel horsepower gains and 17 foot-pound of torque. Again, huge gains at the upper RPM range. Now even down low, even with going with the different cam profiling, usually when you go with a larger cam profile or longer duration, usually we'll see a little bit of power loss in the lower going into the mid-range area, and right around this mid-range it starts to kind of come back, and then you start having power gains. So again, we'll have some power loss here, and then we'll see it kind of pick up in the mid-range roughly, and then we'll just see it kind of cross over like that. In this case, we have 0 power loss and all gains throughout the RPM range, even at the lower end. So this bike is gonna pull harder, smoother, and faster anywhere you're at on this RPM range. That's what this comes down to. So final numbers, we ended at a peak of 187 with 108 foot-pounds of torque. Now, I highly expect if we did a couple more little mods, honestly, like little things to the bike, we could have easily surpassed that 190 wheel horsepower range easily. He just doesn't have the other things done yet. So, and he's not that avid, I want to say, but all in all, there are still a couple more mods that we could do where we could easily pass that 190 mark on this bike. But this was a lot to do all in one shot, honestly, for literally less than less than a week's worth of work. All in all, we got a lot of this stuff knocked out, dyno tuned, all that jazz. And this is pump gas, guys. This is not race gas. This is all done on 93 pump, by the way. So we just want to be 100% transparent with you and let you know the results that we're getting. Not a lot of shops will actually give you that transparency. A lot of times they'll throw in some race gas, or they'll do other modifications to their bikes, and then they'll post the graphs. And what we found out, honestly, is that because there's been some builds out there where I've seen where I'm like, holy crap, you're getting, you know, 200 horsepower out of the same type of build. Like there's something that's clearly different. And then come to find out, they were on MR12, plus they had a couple of other mods that in the bike that they never really listed in the first place, or they never really told you about. Anyway, we want to be 100% transparent. We wanted to show you guys the truth and show you guys exactly what we did and the power that we're actually getting out of this bike with that setup. Tell us what you think about the video. Tell us what you think about the bike. What mods would you guys do aside from what we've done to make more power? Let's have a discussion, all right?
Super happy. Wanted something loud and more powerful, especially right off the stop at the red light, right? I couldn't get, I mean, I had,
it wouldn't go.
Cars could take you off faster than me in the first second.
It won't be like that anymore.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like that anymore. Definitely louder, which noise is safety.
Yeah, let's turn it on real quick. Let's do a little quick turn on. Is key off? So good. Awesome. So good.
Even says stupid fast.
So that's right. We got a little extra on it.
Extra.
He's got the orange carbon tip. We did stupid fast emblem. Looks badass. So
awesome, can't wait. Guys are awesome, man.
we appreciate it, honestly.
We appreciate you too, man.
Thank you, George. Thank you for trusting us.
Definitely.
We really appreciate it. All right, we'll go have fun on it.
I'm done.